St. Louis. Let me first just say that it is a very big honor and a privilege of mine to accept this nomination to run for president of this amazing country. John Quincy Adams once said, if your actions inspires others to dream more, to learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. That, America, is the kind of leader you deserve and the kind of leader I will be. It is my word to you, not as a politician, but as an average man, that I will remember that quote every day when I wake up in the White House, and I will live to fulfill it. As president, it is my job to lead you to a better life, to help make this country better, and to bring back the American dream for some people has been lost not too long ago. I stand here today as hopeful as ever that the United States of America will endure, and that it will prevail, and that the dream of our founders will live on in our time. Creating jobs is one of the many ways to decrease the unemployment rate. Job creation seems like the most common sense one, the way that Senator Williams will jump all over to make himself sound promising. However, my administration has a much better and all-around smarter way to help with this issue. We have reached a time period where job creation and education is essential. To simply create jobs is not enough. We must help educate the American people. It is our job to help them catch up and be competitive individuals in the market. We must help provide schooling that is necessary to be qualified for these paying jobs, for better paying jobs. It is common these days for employers to send their employees to classes to further their development in their field. So why should those classes be unattainable for those who do not have jobs, or those who do not have the money to pay for these classes? The government needs to step up and make these classes, these technical schools, and these other training schools available to all of its citizens. This country needs the Dixon administration to make these options available to them, not the Williams-Chadwick administration that will create these temporary jobs that will cease to exist after the task is complete, rather than educating the American people. It is time to take a look at the tax issue and to make a final decision that will benefit everyone and stop benefiting only the rich. We need to allow the Bush tax cuts to expire. And once that is done, we need to create a more efficient tax bracket that will remove the loopholes that big business owners and rich use to escape taxes. We must create more universal tax codes that affect everyone equally, rather than leaving the rich to benefit. We need to simplify not only the tax code, but the government regulation in general. Obviously, the events of the past few years show that we can't simply allow businesses to run wild with no regulation or oversight. But we will continue to face crises like the financial meltdown and Deepwater Oil Horizon spill. At the same time, our company needs to grow. We need our businesses to innovate and invest with confidence. We need to have regulation and oversight that will keep corporate greed from threatening our economy, but not so much to stifle our growth. To do that, we will invite leading businesses representatives to join in the creation of simpler and more straightforward regulation that will allow for businesses to have a seat at the table of its creation. We need a tax and regulatory code that is safe, that is easier for everyone to understand, and by extension, easier to enforce. We need to cut excessive government verbiage, just as wasteful spending. By making laws and policies that are more concise, they can do the same job and more clearly and with less room for loopholes. I will not be afraid to make the tough decisions for America that will help us reduce the deficit and set this country on path to real and sustained growth once again. We must end the constant battle over health care and keep away from those politicians like Senator Williams who favor the insurers over the patients. Health care should be something that is made available to everyone and should be affordable. The cost of health care is something that not only drains the pockets of citizens, but of the companies as well. We have taken amazing steps towards improving the health care system, but it is time to make the biggest step of all. We need to develop a more affordable and efficient way to provide health care. A government option should and must be created. Government is the only entity truly big enough to force coverage providers to compete and offer a plan with very good value. The healthcare system that we have now is broken. We need to have tort reform to help control healthcare costs, but we also need to realize that the most important part of the solution is access. At the start of 2010, nearly 51 million people were uninsured. This is an enormous problem for both those who are uninsured, but also for the government itself. If those people get sick and they need health care, they go to the emergency room. In most cases, the taxpayers will end up footing the bill. This expense is a large part of why the new healthcare law that President Obama passed will save nearly $150 billion over the next 10 years. But that does not take into account the potential savings of increased access to preventative care. This healthcare reform is a step in the right direction, but we must go further. We need to have a system which people's care is decided by their doctor, not by a board of accountants who try to maximize their profits.